Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a Latino.
Now.
No, I'm not being racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white man.
No, I'm not dismissing your opinion. I am telling you that what the Latino community, the brown community in America.
Speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond.
Racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult.
When you invoke it to dismiss my
being
opinion,
a white man as an insult.
When you invoke it,
do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours. I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said I see it.
I see it differently.
She said I see it differently from you, which is not an insult. It's not, and it's also not a racial insult.
It's also not an explanation why I'm wrong.
But we have a lot more to discuss on this very topic, so we'll have some time.
Liberal women, they got a problem, bro. As you saw from the intro, Anna Navarro and Abby Phillips tried to dismiss this guy's opinion. No, sorry. Anna Navarro tried to invoke his race as a means to kind of discredit his view, saying that, oh, because he's a white man, he don't have to worry about mass deportation, right? As a Latina, she has to worry about mass deportation and how that could be perceived. And then the fact that Abby Phillips at the end said, oh, she's trying to say that she has a different view from you. Okay, let's say Abby Phillips was complaining about the gender pay gap and racism and stuff. And Brian here, I think that's his name, went on and said, well, you're being hyperbolic as a black woman. Would she have taken it the same way of him stating that he had a different opinion on the situation? That the reason why she's getting paid less is generally men work longer hours, regardless if it's salary or not. Men are more likely to ask for a raise, negotiate for a pay raise, negotiate for a promotion. These factors, let's say he said all that. He said, as a black woman, you're being hyperbolic. The gender pay gap and the racial gap is not due to something because you're being hyperbolic as a so-called woman of color. How would that have gone? You think the conversation would have been like, oh, no, he's just stating a different position. I'm not offended by that. The hypocrisy of the left. And people are tired of it. This is why people have liberal fatigue right now, because liberals are starting to show their colors a little bit. And I wanted to show another example of this double standard is that if you allow these people to dismiss an opinion of someone or to downplay someone's opinion because of their skin color, and then these same people will get mad when the same action is being done to them. Because I want to show you some examples of the left doing this to Jewish people, right? And this is what I'm talking about. Either you do it to all or you do it to none. There's no in between. There's no, you can't do this to black people, you can't do this to Hispanic people, you can't do this to Asian people, but you can do this to white people. No. Either you do it to all or you do it to none. And this is something that liberals have a very hard time being consistent when it comes to the topic of race. And that discussion right there proved everything. I want to show you a couple snippets of the left tolerance for racial discrimination, racial language, and this is racism. DEI, I talk about it all the time. DEI is racism under new management. And here's some examples that I want to show. And then also highlight Brian, because the point that he was making was liberals push bad ideas and most of America don't agree with the left, and the left hates it. And the left has no logical argument to defend it. And this is why they resort to these tactics like race hustling, try to gaslight you on race, try to use their race as a cudgel to weaponize and use it as a means of political leverage in debates because they have no logical argument. I digress. Let's get into the clips.
Would you allow a member of the KKK who wished the deaths of black Americans to speak at Georgetown?
No, but we endeavor to have speakers from many different sides to give our students.
So KKK member in today's environment, you'll give him.
No, I don't think we would. We do want to have.
This is very specific. This is a hate. You remember what the KKK used to do to black people, right?
Yes.
Okay. So would you give them the platform to do that?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, to that point, if Georgetown would prevent white KKK bigots on the campus, why would the university would disallow it? Why would the university allow by faculty or students to invite Palestinian anti-Semitic bigots? Because that's what this guy is.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I think you're definitely being hyperbolic. You talk about a reign of terror. When the doomsday alarm from Democrats or from media critics is always at a 10, it doesn't hit the same, honestly. And I think Obama's falling into the messaging trap. The issue for Democrats is not just the messaging. A lot of them seem to think that, well, if we just got the messaging right, America would love our ideas. Actually, no, a lot of their ideas are deeply unpopular. The Democrats have allowed themselves to become the party that stood in almost uniform behind child sex changes across America.
That's just not true.
I'm sorry, I can explain it in 30 seconds how true it is. Joe Biden brought Dylan Mulvaney to the White House for an interview talking about how important it was to keep those procedures legal in all 50 states. Every Democrat, after the recent Supreme Court decision, almost every Democrat in Washington put out a statement decrying it, that states would dare regulate puberty blockers being given to 11 or 12-year-olds. On the border, on inflation, there are many issues where it's not a messaging issue. The policy is also the problem for Democrats. Like people who are ineligible, for example, their income is too high.
Who do you mean?
Well, the CBO estimates that millions of the people who would be removed by the Big Beautiful Bill, it's a fact, people would lose their health care. It's because they are literally ineligible for Medicaid because of the income requirement.
Hold on a second. Let me just make one.
And Ana Navarro, and this is not only something only specific to her, this is something I noticed in the trend line with most liberal women, is that they have this thing they like to do is to downplay or dismiss the so-called privileged class, right? So Ana Navarro made statements like men are useless, right? And, you know, you can go down the rabbit hole. Men build shelters, men build transportation, men farm and hunt so food is abundant, men serve in combat roles to keep society safe, but men are useless. These are the kind of commentary that liberal women spew in the Democratic Party because they message in a very feminine and emotional way, caters to liberal women, and this is why the Democratic Party are losing young men. Because liberal women are, in my view, passively racist, passively sexist, right? They're condescending, they're elitist. And the Democrats kind of have to feed into that ego. That's why you can't criticize Kamala Harris, even though she ran a terrible, terrible campaign. Democrat pundits will say, oh, she ran a perfect campaign. It's just the voters are racist and sexist. That's why they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. But in the same breath, they are racist and sexist themselves, downplaying the achievements of men. Imagine if men were doing that about women's achievements. Women directly call it sexist. But then when you hold them to their own standard, they want to make excuses. Oh, no, you're taking me out of context. Oh, all we're trying to say is we have a different perspective. Oh, okay. And this is the kind of arrogance that I think a lot of people are not tolerating from the left anymore. And I think liberal women are the biggest validators of this. Liberal women are the least tolerant people amongst liberals. Liberal men are more tolerant than liberal women. I already showed you the stats. I keep saying it. So liberal women being the least tolerant group has a problem when opposing opinions are stated. And you saw it with Abby Phillips and Ana Navarro. Man says, hey, yo, I feel insulted you use race as a means to try to, downplay my argument, my statement. Oh, no, we're not being racist. We're just trying to state a different opinion. And then he calls her out, too. He said, hey, a lot of Latinos, a lot of Hispanics, and this is true, agree with mass deportation. So now, Ana Navarro, how can you sit here and pretend that you are the voice for Latinos? New YouGov poll suggests most Americans want deportation to increase. There's a chasm between the interests of elites and the American people. The majority of Americans want ICE to be expanded. YouGov poll. So who Ana Navarro speaking for? Liberals. She ain't speaking for no Latino community. Because most people I know in the Hispanic community, most Hispanic immigrants come into this country legally, not illegally. The illegals are a minority in the Hispanic community when it comes to the immigration class there. So why do you think a legal immigrant will want mass deportation? Because they don't want people like this person in the clip who believe that, oh, it would have taken too long if I did the legal way. Imagine being so narcissistic that you think that you deserve to cut the line because of your personal circumstances.
There are people who will say, you came to the U.S. illegally. Why didn't you do it the right way? What do you say to people?
If you were to be put in my situation at my age to tell me do it the right way, the whole process pretty much takes about 15 to 20 years. By that time, I don't think my kids or anyone's kids who are starving or in a dangerous situation can wait 15, 20 years for you to come here and start working.
And it goes to show this argument. There's a strange view on the left that the only thing preventing their position from gaining widespread acceptance is messaging. Maybe if by messaging they mean their ability to use confusing language to trick people into supporting absurdity. That's absurdity. You saw the guy complaining, oh, it's going to take me 15, 20 years to come into this country legally. There's many examples. Many legal immigrants did exactly what this guy's complaining about. But because he wants to cut the line, and now Trump wants to hold these people accountable and deport them out of the country and return them back to their homeland, or they're self-deporting because they know that if they get deported, it may hurt them. They want to leave on their own. This is who Ana Navarro is fighting for, crying about for. Not Americans, foreigners. And this is the point that Brad, sorry, I was saying his name wrong, was saying the whole time. Yo, this is dumb. Your ideas are dumb. And no matter how you dress it, undocumented, he's an undocumented migrant. You mean an illegal? How you become undocumented? You come into the country through the back door. That's how you become undocumented. Using all these word games. I'm tired of the word games. I'm tired of the less word games. And when they get called out for their mess, they want to pretend, they want to fake outrage and pretend that they're so offended. Oh my God, as a Latina, I'm scared for people. I'm scared. Come on. He's taking rights away. Like all this fear mongering from the left. No one believes you. No one believes y'all BS anymore. And this is the manipulation of the Democrats that I talk about so much. The D stands for deceitful. The D stands for deceptive. These people, they lie different. Imagine the absurdity. Oh, these people were not supposed to be on the system in the first place. Look at all the bad ideas that Democrats push. No matter the type of messaging, no matter how you package it, lipstick on a pig still makes it a pig. And this is something the left don't seem to recognize. They thought that giving us Biden policies, but Kamala Harris is the one packaging these policies will somehow make a difference. Oh, we got a whole new candidate. No, we don't. We got Biden 2.0 as a woman and a so-called black person. But the policies were still bad. The policies still gave us the highest inflation rate in 40 years, but the Democrats wanted you to vote for that because it's packaged with a mixed woman and history-making first woman president. That's what they wanted you to vote on. Confusing and deceptive language. This is manipulation. And you saw it in the debate. You saw it in the intro. How they gaslight the situation. They manipulate the situation just to evade the point the guy was making. Hey, you guys exaggerate all the negatives of Donald Trump's administration. And I'm going to get to it in another video about the economy. Inflation came up higher than expected. All these experts finally got some hint of evidence that maybe what they're saying is true, and they run along with it as if they've been called it. Oh, yeah, we called it perfectly. No, you called it 5 straight times in a row that it was going to happen, and you were wrong 4 of them. And even the 5th report, it wasn't as hyperbolic as they make it out to be, but that's a topic for another video. But these are some of the examples of what the liberals try to fearmonger around. And this is the hyperbolicism that Brad was talking about. And instead of debating his point, you point out his race. Oh, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man. Liberal women got so used to doing stuff like that. Oh, it's hyperbolic for you as a man. Oh, you're insecure because you're a man, like using your race and gender. But if someone used the same tactics on them, they'll cry racism. They'll cry victimhood. Make it make sense.
Trump has literally taken away all my rights. All of them. Women's rights, gone. Just vanished. I was told he had bring back slavery. Black folks were going to be chained up by Tuesday. Still haven't gotten my plantation assignment. Should I be worried? Oh, and apparently I was getting deported. Never mind that I came here legally and became an American citizen over 15 years ago.
And this is the reality of most immigrants in this country. If you're an undocumented migrant, it means you came through this country illegally, and you know you came to this country illegally, aka you broke the country's laws. And that's why you don't go get your papers, because your butt is going to go right back home because you want to live off the system. You don't want to be tracked by the system. You don't want to be held accountable by the system. So you stay undocumented, or you're just too lazy to do it in the first place. And you saw from the clip I showed you about the Mexican guy saying that I would have waited 15 years if I wanted to be here. But that's what the legal immigrants did. So you think you're better than all these legal immigrants, that you needed to cut the line because you are so important? Make it make sense. But these are the people that Democrats defend. But I digress. Let's continue with the clip.
But sure, let me go back Then there was the whole Trump's going to start World War III and MAGA is headed to Iran. Yet somehow I missed the draft notice. And martial law, still waiting. I even refreshed my notifications just in case. But yes, we live in a dictatorship. You are literally screaming F Trump online with zero consequences in this so-called dictatorship. At what point do you realize the scare tactics were just that, scare tactics? The campaign lies are stale, the outrage is tired, and the facts never backed any of it up. Liberal fatigue is real. Seek help.
And that's the reality. This is why people are tuning out liberals and their messaging, in their so-called messaging, because they don't have no messaging. Their messaging is fear tactics. Look at how they talk. Look at the clips. Look at I don't do anything special. I'm not assuming any of this. I just play the clip. I give you my interpretation of events. I give you my cause for it. I give you my thoughts, my opinions on it. I show you where I'm basing it on, and it speaks for itself. And then when you critique the liberal hates to be critiqued. But the liberal love to critique other people. Liberals love to critique conservatives, what they do to culture, what their cultural influence is, what they're pushing, what their principles, the fundamentalism that conservatism is based on. Liberals love critiquing all that. But when it's time for the liberals to face critique, they can never take it. They go into their victimhood mentality. They go to their trusty playbook of crying, being the victim. Oh, I'm a woman. Oh, I'm a Latina. Oh, I'm a black person. Crying about using their identity as a cudgel or alibi for their inability to message correctly or push up a messaging that most Americans can get behind. Americans ain't gonna get behind this hyperbolic, exaggerated, fear-mongering, doom and gloom narrative that they love to spew about Donald Trump, especially when we know it's a politically convenient position to have. You're damn near 100% negative towards Donald Trump on everything he do, to the point where on this next video that I'm gonna do today, that CNN can't even give him credit about lowering egg prices. They were crying about egg prices all the beginning of this year. Now they're not even mentioning it anymore because what? They'll have to give him credit for it, and they don't want to do that. Liberal fatigue. Liberal fatigue is this ability to know that liberals cannot be objective on any issues pertaining to any conservatives, specifically Donald Trump. Their anti-Trumpism is essentially making them ineffective as a political ideology. Because even when he gets the results that gives him favorable outcomes and is giving favorable outcomes to the American people, they can't give Trump credit. Oh, Trump taco, he's chickening out. But tariff revenue rose by $27 billion, and we have a surplus for the first time since Donald Trump's first term in 2017, that we had a surplus in tariffs. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for the American people? That sounds like a good thing, especially when there's no cost increase for the Americans. But one report finally go their way. That's all they need. Fearmonger. The last four, those don't count. The one that actually finally kind of give their narrative some credibility, that's the one they push everywhere. They blast it everywhere. Make sure you hear about it. You see it. You see it in real time. And I think this is why people are tired of liberal fatigue. This is why people are having liberal fatigue. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. Do you think people are tired of the double standards and the inconsistencies of the left, and this is one of the reasons driving liberal fatigue? I'd like to hear your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.